Then after getting accepted, my biggest concern was the math.
It's like, okay, let's treat it as a kind of art.
Choose one that challenges how you think and adds a new perspective to your academics, because that's where the real value comes from.
That's really inspirational.
Hello, my name is Ugne. I'm a junior at Yonsei, majoring in business administration, and I'm also double majoring in economics. Nice to meet you.
Hi guys, my name is Helen. I'm a sophomore in GLC and my major is country media and I double major in applied information engineering.
Today we're going to share
About our double major experiences.
So can you share about your story of double major application process?
It was pretty straightforward and kind of like easy because we didn't have any interviews. We just submit our motivational letter and the study plan on Yonsei portal. I think it was during the break time when we applied and get the results.
Yeah, it's either around finals time or around 1 week after the semester end.
We received the information, yeah, you got in the major
Or not. Make the motivational letter strong. You just have to show why you want this specific major and to prove that you can juggle both of the majors at the same time.
For me, like, I think I try to link between the two major. Yeah, like how this one can benefit this one and how I find these two can benefit me in the future, this kind of thing. And also about the study plan, I try to like search for what do we actually study in each courses, put it in a kind of a picture of like what I was studying for a year.
Yeah, I was also grounding my arguments in that how I can relate business and economics together. Even though I was a bit worried because some majors like business or economics are pretty competitive to double major in, given the fact that I didn't take that many economics courses. Before that, it's usually recommended to take at least a few courses before applying for a double major, and I didn't do that. So I was very worried that I wouldn't get in. Can you apply for regular majors as a GLC major?
Yeah, of course. Like in GLC, we can apply to all others major. I think there are some specific majors that we cannot apply to, including I think UIC. Like GLC cannot apply to UIC. How many credits do you have to study for double major?
Not sure. But it is less than you would have to take for your main major, which is good because you get a second major without, taking all the credits. You can fulfill your general education by taking your second major elective. And you can apply from your third semester on until up to 1 semester before graduation. At first, I actually didn't even plan on double majoring at all. But over time, while studying business, I started noticing that something was missing. Like, I understood how companies make decisions, but I didn't fully understand why those decisions make sense in the first place. Like, it felt kind of superficial. So that's what pushed me towards economics. Like, economics gave me a deeper logic behind everything that I was already learning. So instead of choosing something completely different, I chose something that would strengthen what I was already doing.
For my case, I was kind of like didn't plan to double major at all. I thought like one major isn't out for me, but then I think I should like make the most of my time here in Yonsei. Some people might think that applied information engineering is totally a different major apart from country media, but I think there will be a link between these two majors, and I don't know, whatever I learn, I think it will be benefit for me in the future. If not today, then definitely there will be one day that these knowledge will be useful to me. So I started double major since this semester. At first I thought it would be really difficult, really like all the mathematics thing, all the logical thing. But until now I think it's quite going well because the professors in GLC are pretty good and they are really like kind to us. Even though it's the math, it's still like the coding thing that sometimes give me a little bit struggle.
Wasn't even sure I was gonna get in because economics is quite competitive and I hadn't taken that many economics courses, so I felt a little bit underprepared. Then after getting accepted, my biggest concern was the math.
Yeah.
Like I
know
expected it to be very overwhelming, but once I actually started, it wasn't as scary as I imagined. Like it's definitely more rigorous than business, but it's also pretty much just based on logic. And once you understand the structure behind it, things just started making sense and was much more manageable than I expected. So once again, the math. Mainly because of the math. It was my biggest concern from the start. And that's actually why I originally considered doing a language-based double major. But I chose economics because I feel like it complements business in a much stronger way. It's important to note that business administration and economics are two completely different things. Business is more applied and practical, while economics is more structured and analytical. The learning style is different, but that difference is exactly what makes them work so well together.
That's really inspirational for me. Like my first major is country media, so basically we work on projects a lot. I didn't expect that at all in applied information engineering. I thought it would just like going to class, learning about math and all the like technical things. But it turns out applied information engineering, we have to do group project. Like the final product of a subject is like a project. It turns into actual product and we actually know how to put it into real life. I think that's a pretty cool thing about this major and maybe GLC as well. For me, I don't find it's hard at all because it's still like the same number of credits you take every semester.
Yeah, surprisingly, it hasn't affected my schedule as much as I thought it would or as much as people expect. The credit limit per semester is the same.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm taking more classes than before. And socially, I would say it even improved things. I get to take classes in a different faculty. I get to meet new people, which, makes my university experience more diverse. One thing I would do differently is planning earlier because I only decided to double major after my second year. So during freshman year, I took quite random general education courses. So if anything, I would tell freshmen to think about this earlier and plan their courses more intentionally.
Do you ever fear becoming a jack of all trades or master of none, knowing a bit of everything but excelling at nothing?
Yeah.
With business and economics, I don't really feel that way. I feel like these two majors don't dilute each other. I feel like they complement each other really well. Economics adds depth and structure, while business keeps things practical and applicable. So instead of knowing a little bit of everything, I feel like I understand the same problems from two different angles. And, if anything, economics requires more time and focus because it's a little more rigorous. But since I've already progressed with my business major, I can balance it with lighter electives there. So it ends up working out quite naturally.
That kind of a person that I would learn like everything and end up not mastering in anything. It's just the problem of time, actually. Like whatever you learn now, it will, like I said, it will definitely benefit you in the future. It's just what make you feel like interested now, you just go for it. I don't think it's like a really big problem to be jack of all trades. So never fear of it.
It's only been positive, at least for me. It made me stronger in my first major as well. Concepts in business administration that used to feel vague or unclear now just make much more sense because I can connect them to economic reasoning. Myself constantly using the knowledge from one major in the other major and also in daily life situations. I feel like it changed how I think in my daily life, not just what I know academically.
When you look deep into it, it's just like all the kind of apps that we use. It's just basically just like metrics and vectorsing. And even for working with the numbers, I started to feel like it's like, okay, let's treat it as a kind of art to look at in a positive way. The core concept of contra media is just being creative. To explain it to applied information engineering student, I would say don't see a bug as a bug, see it as a kind of art. Country media, everything can be considered art. and we just create whatever comes to our head. And it's kind of fun to play with your imagination and to, create whatever you want like that.
Basically, about making decisions when you have limited resources, because you always have to choose what to focus on, what to invest in, what to prioritize. And every single choice means giving something else up. It's not just about having good ideas, but also about choosing the right ones and actually making them work in a real competitive environment.
I take a course called web programming, which is like redesigning a web, coding a web, and applied information engineering. And through that, I know about a kind of like trendy thing now, which is vibe coding, which means you have the idea of it and the idea of your website, how it's gonna look like, how it's gonna work, and you try to describe it as natural language, like put it into sentence, into words, and you put it to the AI assistants, so they will create a website for you. A fun thing that you have the idea, you have the concept of it, but you don't actually know the technical things, so you just use AI to actually like visualize it for you, like a link between how you put your imagination, your idea into real life product.
Is that these two majors build on each other. One helps you to understand the logic and the other one helps you apply it. Okay, for example, some concepts that we touched briefly in business, we analyze them more deeply in economics. Like what maybe, for example, when I took a marketing course, we mentioned a thing called game theory briefly. But now I'm studying it in economics, like in more depth to understand like more deeply how it works and why it's used. And also trying to pursue a career path related to management consulting. And it was a little bit confusing and difficult to understand while only studying business. But when I started studying economics, it's much easier to solve consulting cases by applying like economics concepts in it.
Just like experience as much as possible. Like for me in the first year, I just take all the course that I feel I'm interested, and it could be like anything, like education, like philosophy, and kind of like politics, but you just need to find what clicks in.
Don't choose a second major just to make your life easier. Choose one that challenges how you think and adds a new perspective to your academics, because that's where the real value comes from.
Wow.
Please like,
Share
subscribe
for
to
Yonsei
Yonsei Annals.